close to you.
Karen and I were born in New Haven, Connecticut. I in October of 1946 and Karen in March of 1950. My father had an extensive and eclectic collection of 78s at the time. Really, from the time I was 3, 4 years old, I was interested in listening to not only the little children's records they bought me to play, but the more and more I heard of what he had in his collection, I wanted to get at it. And Karen, whether she was that interested in it, whether she just wanted to hang around with her big brother, she came down and we'd put a stack of records on and just sit and listen.
Every sha-la-la-la, every woe still shines. Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they're starting to sing so fine. All my best memories come back clearly to me. Some can even make me cry just like before. It's yesterday once more.
Our family moved from New Haven, Connecticut to Southern California in 1963 for a couple of reasons, but one of them being that they wanted me to further my career in music, and they felt that Southern California was really the best place to be. It also worked out very well because about a year or so after the initial move, then Karen became interested in music as well. She asked for a set of drums, and of course my parents were a little bit dubious about this, having gone through the flute and the accordion, which went nowhere. She took to them nothing flat, all the exotic time signatures and all of that. We spent day after day just rehearsing and recording on this little machine that I had.
Estamos apresentando Vidas.
Me hace elegante a todos.
In the mid-'60s, I started a label that I called Magic Lamp Records, and I put together a studio in my garage. Karen and Richard came to the studio in the garage with a trumpet player. I don't remember his name. He had come in to play, to see if he could come out and play on some of the tapes. And he brought Karen and Richard with him to play for him. Sometime during the night, Karen sang, and I thought, wow, what about her? You forget the trumpet player. This chubby little girl can sing.
Poets have said there is a thing called love.
Of course, that's the first time I ever heard her really recorded on a really good mic and played back through studio monitors, and I thought she was good in the living room. I was sold by this time, because by '66, even though it was still a little rough around the edges, she had the sound.
When we finally did get into A&M Records, it took Herb Alpert, who was a musician, and not, he's the musician half of the A&M. He's not the business half. And he saw what he liked musically in it and didn't stop to think whether it would sell or not. He just took us because he dug it.
Don't be afraid to tell everyone you've loved.
When I got the demo tape for the Carpenters, the minute I put it on, I had that feeling, you know, that feeling when I heard Karen's voice. I was charmed. It had a real unusual quality to it. And when I found out that she was not only singing, but she was playing drums, and Richard was playing keyboards, and they were doing all the vocal parts, it was love at first hear.
We signed with A&M, in came Herb, and he shook our hands and was terribly sweet and said, So many words, it's a pleasure to meet you. Let's hope we have some hits. And he was right on the money, because now you've reached, as they used to say on either 21 or the $64,000 question, the next plateau. You've signed with a major record label, okay. Now you have to get a hit. They gave us carte blanche in the recording studio. The first album had a ballad version I'd put together of Lennon-McCartney's Ticket to Ride.
He said that living with me was bringing him down, yeah. He would never be free when I was around. He's got a ticket to ride. He's got a ticket to ride. To ride, and he don't care. Don't know why he's riding so high. He ought to do right, he ought to do right by me. Before he gets to saying goodbye, he ought to do right, he ought to do right.
Ticket to Ride had its run on the charts. And A&M at that time, they weren't sure whether they were going to let them make another record or not. They decided that they wanted them to put out a single and see how the single did, so they were looking for material at the time.
I'd written the song with Hal David, Close to You. I'd made the first record with Richard Chamberlain years ago. And it was a pretty lame record. And I think I did an instrumental myself on the song and never got the right concept on the song until Richard Carpenter and Herb Alpert, they put this thing together.
It got back to us that Herb really wanted us to record this song. Really wanted us to record it. So I took it into the sound stage and I came up with this.
Why do birds?
Herbie, rightfully so, he said, well, at the end of the first bridge, there are two quintuplets that he wanted me to hold in, which would be, say if you had sprinkle moon dust in your hair of gold, starlight in your eyes of blue, he wanted.
That is why all the girls come down.
Of course, the thing at the end. And I have to admit, as the song came together and Karen and I started overdubbing the vocals, I could hear then what Herb kind of sensed all along, that this is the right song for Karen and Richard.
I remember Herb Alpert calling me up after they'd made the record and he played it for me on the phone, and boy, sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know in your heart that this is, this record is a smash.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair of golden starlight in your eyes of blue.
Now you have to understand that after all of the months previous, Ticket had gotten to 54. Close to You debuted, at 56. I remember exactly how it went. 56, 37, 14, then to 7, then to 3, and then 1 for a month. And, you know, there's no putting it into words.
For Best Contemporary Vocal Performance by a duo, group, or chorus, the winner is
Carpenters, Close to You.
People then were saying, well, the Carpenters were an overnight success. No, they weren't. It was Close to You that was an overnight success.
Roger Nichols and I had been writing songs for about 2 or 3 years. We'd been getting a lot of songs recorded, a lot of B-sides, a lot of album cuts, no singles. All of a sudden, there was a company that was going to do a commercial for Crocker Bank. It was going to show a young couple getting married, and it was My Lucky Break.
We've only just begun to live. So much of life ahead. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. We've only just begun.
I sang it in the commercial, and it's interesting. There was an immediate response to it. Richard Carpenter called, and he asked if there was a full-length version of the song. Well, if I would have lied through my teeth if there wasn't, you know, because to get a Carpenters record at that point was, you know, was going to be a big deal.
In addition to the verses I already heard, it had the sharing horizons that are new to us, and then it gets into that, and when the evening comes, and the together, and everything I heard just spelled hit to me. And I worked out my arrangement of it. Well, and then we went and recorded it.
We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck and we're on our way. We've only begun. Before the rising sun we fly. So many roads to choose. We start out walking and learn to run. And yet we've just begun. Sharing horizons that are new to us. Watching the signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us. Working together day to day. Together. Love, look at the two of us. Strangers in many ways. Let's take a lifetime to say I knew you well, for only time will tell us so, and love may grow for all we know.
The touring schedule was rough. We started, as most groups do, without much help. Actually, when we first hit the road, there was a small truck, a station wagon, and us. We set up, we tore down, we drove, we schlepped, we did everything you had to do to make a show go. It was a lot of fun. It was a good thing we were young, because it was hard, but it didn't matter at that time. We were just thrilled to have a chance to get out and play. We traveled a lot. The heyday, we were traveling probably 180 days a year.
It would have been, I think, easier to play that many dates if the demands of recording had not been quite so heavily on the shoulders of Rich and Karen, and very heavily on Rich. He was always listening for the next hit song. And I mean, that's evidenced by some of the ways he found them. I mean, watching television and hearing a bank commercial and twigging that that's Paul Williams' voice. Gee, I wonder if there's a whole song, and then it becomes We've Only Just Begun. Going out to relax one night to see a movie and catching a little snippet of a song that turns out to be For All We Know.
And love may grow for all we know.
That just kind of tells you how constantly he was thinking about the next move.
When A&M started marketing the Carpenters, I don't think they really knew what they were doing. The strategy they employed was to do these kind of romantic, fuzzy pictures where you have Karen wearing this lacy dress and Richard wearing a cashmere jacket. The whole campaign was a little bit screwy. Back in 1970, there was free love and there were lots of drugs. Contrast that with, you know, the Pepsodent Twins image, the wholesome image.
They were certainly against the grain as far as what was going on visually. Somebody was talking about the sounds being vanilla at one point, and I went, but what an exquisite flavor vanilla is. They made great records. They took our songs and gave them a life.
What I've got they used to call the blues. Nothing is really wrong. Feeling like I don't belong. Walking around some kind of lonely cloud. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Funny, but it seems I always wind up here with you.
I finally made the decision that I needed to speak with Karen about actually fronting the group. Certainly she was the star of the duo, but she was only 5'4", and the audience couldn't see a great deal of Karen. So what Karen and I decided upon was for the ballads, she would get up and sing.
What I feel is come and gone before. No need to talk it out. We know what it's all about. Hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
But I have to say, in her heart of hearts, I still think she considered herself, for as great a singer as she was, a drummer who sang.
Long ago, and oh so far away, I fell in love with you before the second show. Your guitar, it sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just the radio. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
things that distinguish the Carpenter sound, first of all, are the voice. Within the first note, you know that it's Karen, and this is what great singers have. Just like you know with Bing and with Frank and with Ella and with Sarah Vaughan, after one note, it couldn't be anybody else. The other thing about the sound is, of course, that stacked vocal harmony. You know, 8 Carpenters' voices all singing harmony with each other.
The act that had the most profound effect on my arranging and on the whole Carpenter sound was the music of Les Paul and Mary Ford.
Mary's voice.
All night long,
2 voices.
of you I'm dreaming.
3 voices.
All night long,
And 4
of
voices.
you I'm dreaming.
Put them all together and it'll sound like this.
All night long.
She was overdubbing, see, and at the time, 1950, 51, I couldn't have told you. I don't think most people now can tell you what overdubbing is, never mind back then.
Overdubbing is something that I happened to create in my lifetime. And in our case, it's the same way with the Carpenters. I could take my Mary and make her 3, 6, 9, 12, as many voices as I wished. This is quite an asset. Somewhere in the rock world it took off and it made some angry noises and some beautiful noises. And the Carpenters, one of those that made some very beautiful noises with the overdubbing.
Making each other cry, hurting each other.
Estamos apresentando Vidas. Vamos a apresentar Vidas.
Closer than the leaves on a weeping willow, baby, we are. Closer, dear, are we, than the simple letters A and B are. All my life, I could love only you all your life. You could love only me. Tell me why then, oh why should it be that we go on hurting each other? We go on hurting each other, making each other cry, hurting each other without ever knowing why. Can't we stop?
In terms of the songs being autobiographical for Karen, or any of us for that matter, yes is the answer. During those years, we really didn't have any lasting relationships, she and I. And that's painful, you know. We had a career and a TV.
Goodbye to Love came to me as a melody as I was watching an terrific old Bing Crosby movie. And in it, he plays a songwriter. And in this film, they keep referring to the greatest song that this writer had ever written, Goodbye to Love. You never hear any Goodbye to Love, they just keep referring to it. And I thought, Goodbye to Love? I mean, that's a great title. And as soon as I heard them mention Goodbye to Love, I pictured, I'll say goodbye to love. No one ever cared if I should live or die.
Time and time again, the chance for love has passed me by, and all I know of love is how to live without it. I just can't seem to find it.
One night I'm sitting at home, and the phone rings, and I pick it up, Tony, this is Karen Carpenter. I didn't know who it was. I said, very funny. And she was like, this is Karen Carpenter. All of a sudden I realized it was her. My heart raced. It was just incredible. I mean, you're talking to one of your idols. And says, well, Richard and I down here at A&M, we're working on a record right now, and we think you'd be perfect for what we're doing right in this song. Anyway, they were working on Goodbye to Love. big spot comes in the middle, right where the solo is, and stops, and Richard goes, "That's where you play." And I'm thinking, okay, what would be right for this record? I have to think like what would be right for a Carpenter's record. So I played something that was, soft, easy. I just tried to stay out of the way. And obviously it didn't happen. Richard said, no, just go, just burn. Today, and from then on, it's very commonplace. You hear these big power ballads, beautiful ballads with raging guitar solos in them. Nobody had ever done that before. This was totally, crazy. I take a tiny bit of credit for it, for being there and playing it, but it wasn't my idea. It was, Richard's, and he was always the guy with the great ideas.
And of course, that record, while being a hit both in the United States and in England, did turn a few heads amongst Carpenter's fans, because of course it had a fuzz guitar solo in it. And we got a few letters saying, "You sold out."
What lies in the future is a mystery to us all. No one can predict the wheel of fortune as it falls. There may come a time when I will see that I've been wrong, but for now this is my song, and it's goodbye to love.
I'd been around them in big cities and seen the fame, but I'd never been on the road with them. So I was living in Nashville at the time, writing country songs, and Rich and Karen came through to play Nashville. We were going to get on the plane, and I was going to go on tour with them. So I said, "Meet me around back of the arena." And so I went around, and I was standing in the back, and all of a sudden there were about 1,200 people running right at me. And then I didn't realize that they were flying in a Lear jet instead of commercial airliners. And that's actually the night we got the idea for Top of the World. Taking off in a Lear jet, I leaned over to Richie and said, "Well, we're on the top of the world now, aren't we?"
I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Something in the wind has learned my name, and it's telling me that things are not the same. In the leaves on the trees and the touch of the breeze, there's a pleasing sense of happiness for me. There is only one wish on my mind. When this day is through, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All I need will be mine if you are here. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world.
Test, 1, 2, test.
Okay?
Test, 1, 2.
Personally, I thought we were touring too much.
Test.
The Carpenters' success, no matter how well we were doing on the road, and we were doing very well on the road, all stemmed from the records.
Test.
You know, and of course we were expected to put out one a year. And if I was getting to a point where I wasn't really excited about going into a recording studio, then we were going to get ourselves in trouble.
Richard Carpenter. Somebody listen to me.
And I started reaching that point. I needed my batteries recharged.
Have you got the floors on, Mark?
We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck and we're on our way.
Hi, I'm Richard Carpenter.
And I'm Karen Carpenter.
Welcome to our first television special.
Karen and Richard were wholesome. Pick your own adjective. I like wholesome because you rooted for them. They're people you wanted to succeed.
See, she's at it again, drumming. People are always asking me why Karen plays the drums.
I can answer that in 2 words. Why not?
The Carpenters. A Christmas Portrait. Starring Richard and Karen Carpenter.
Their Christmas song was one of their biggies of all time. It's become a classic. Every year I'm happy to hear it being played on the radio.
Greeting cards have all been sent. The Christmas rushes through, but I still have one wish to make, a special one for you. Merry Christmas, darling. We're apart, that's true, but I can dream, and in my dreams I'm Christmasing with you. Holidays are joyful, there's always something new, but every day's a holiday when I'm near to you.
Music, 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 which became our final special only because of what ultimately happened with Karen, is what I consider the best of them all. There's no shtick in it, no canned laughter in it, no skits. It's just music, start to finish. Bob Henry, our producer-director, was looking for one of the 2 piano pieces for Music, Music, Music. Well, I suggested Dizzy Fingers.
I know that playing the piano on television can be a little, I won't say dull, but a little, after a while, uninteresting. And so we had a series of pianos on platforms, and he went from one to another, to another, to another.
While we were making it, ABC wasn't very happy with it because, of course, there was no shtick in it. The word that had gotten back was, "What the hell do they think this is? A PBS special?" Karen and Ella did a lovely piece. And it was really quite a special moment because you got, in different ways, 2 of the greatest female singers who ever lived.
Are we really happy with this lonely game we play? Looking for the right words to say. not finding understanding anyway. We're lost in this masquerade.
Both afraid to say we're just too far away from being close together from the start. We tried to talk it over, but the words got in the way. We're lost inside this lonely game we play.
There was a kind of a shadow that I saw over the smile, that fell across the smile in all the recent pictures. Well, I suspected that something was wrong because she was so terribly thin, so terribly thin. And I didn't know at the time a lot about eating disorders, you know.
I remember saying to Karen, I don't know what you're doing, but you've got to stop it, you know. And finally, when she left my dressing room, I gave her a hug, and she was so thin. And that was the last time I saw her.
When we first started to notice the problem in Karen, only a few experts knew the term anorexia nervosa or bulimia. We just knew something was wrong. It had gone beyond dieting, but we didn't know what the hell we were dealing with.
Well, it was a very complicated time. The fact that Richard was having problems with Quaaludes during this period also added to this.
Karen's solo album came about while I was in a chemical dependency unit for 6 weeks, getting myself off of prescription sleeping pills.
Karen liked to make records. Richard was not in a position right then to make any records. It's no real big surprise she cut a solo record. And it's no real surprise that it was sort of disappointing because it was a first solo record.
You're driving me wild. You're making me fall in love with you, baby. I'm losing control.
You know, she loved it. Rich and I were tepid. And that was pretty much what she got, and then the record label didn't want to put it out. So she was caught in this gray area where she had to make a decision, and I think that she opted for, gee, let's make another album, Rich.
Play us a song we can slow dance on. We wanna hold each other. Play us a groove so we hardly move. Just let our hearts beat together. Oh baby, 'cause it feels so good when we're close like this. Whisper in my ear and let me steal a kiss. Come on and touch me when we're dancing. You know you got that loving touch. Touch me when we're dancing. I wanna feel you when I'm falling. Feel you when I'm falling.
Karen's marriage and wedding was loaded with hope for Karen, but not just for Karen. The very fact that one of us had come up with something that looked like a long-term relationship that might work, I think hope was what we did have, blind faith. The wedding itself was, I almost said bizarre. It was big. I'd never seen anything quite like that.
Richard was very concerned about the fact that Karen was suffering from anorexia. And she went east for treatment, and she came back and she thought she was cured. And in fact, Richard felt she was not cured. So Karen and Richard met, and Richard told Karen how he felt and what he was concerned about. And of course, 10 days later, she was no longer with us.
Because I knew she wasn't well, and we'd had this meeting with Werner. She was hot as hell at me for even questioning how she looked. And I said, it's only because I love you, and I just plain don't think you look well. I can see it in your eyes. Karen had come down from Century City on a Thursday afternoon to visit the folks. 10 of 8 the next morning, it's my mom, who's hysterical on the phone, going on about Karen. You know, she's here, she's upstairs, she's down, she doesn't look well. And I said, I'm on my way. And I rounded the corner, and tears filled my eyes, because it, just right there, it was pretty serious looking, you know, and evidently she was already in the ambulance. And I remember thinking, hope against hope. With any luck, this will just be enough to make her see the light of day. That's what I was hoping, that she'd somehow just passed out, they'll get her to the hospital, they'll revive her, and she'll see the error of her ways. I mean, maybe now it'll finally sink into her that she really has a problem. That's what I was hoping.
Her name was Karen, my sister, my friend. It's hard to believe this strange, tragic end. You were funny and nice, a little naive, and you lived for your music. And now for you, I grieve. Look at the two of us, strangers in many ways.
This is a very sad day, and at the same time, a very special and beautiful day to my family and I. My only regret is that Karen is not physically here to share it with us. However, I know she is very much alive in our minds and in our hearts.
Estamos apresentando Vidas.
When I look back on the years that Karen and I worked together, recorded together, I feel they were amongst the most magical of my life. I was born with a love for music. To be able to make my living doing something I love, I feel very grateful for. But what even makes it that much better is that my sister happened to be one of the finest female singers who ever lived, and enjoyed making the records with me as much as I enjoyed making them. I consider her a very special soul, and I know the world misses her, and I do to this day, and always will, but am very proud of what she and I accomplished.
Why do stars fall in the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why close to you? us to